Hello, and welcome back to another session on the Growth Mindset Collective with myself and Nikki Hall. How are you, Nikki, today?
Hello, I'm great. Thanks for asking.
Of course. Glad to hear that you're doing wonderful. And today we're going to jump right into the topic mid-year pivot, realign with your core purpose. So today we're talking about something I believe every one of us needs from time to time, which is a reset, because that beginning of a year was a long time ago for some of us. So we're doing this not because we're failed, not because we're behind, just because life changes, and so do we. So
Yeah.
many people wait until January again to reflect on their goals and make changes. But growth doesn't follow the calendar. Every day gives us a new opportunity to pause, evaluate, maybe learn how to speak in my case, and choose a better direction. Being halfway through the year is the perfect moment to ask, am I still living the life I truly want to create? Maybe some of your goals have changed, and maybe mine have too, Nikki, right?
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
yeah, maybe your priorities have shifted. Maybe you've grown into a different person than you were 6 months ago. This is not failure, that's growth. And today isn't about starting over, it's actually about moving forward with greater wisdom, clarity, and intention. So, of course, I love to hear what Nikki has to say. So, Nikki, the floor is yours.
Hi. Well,
Mhm.
I think Ava and I are both doing this in our own ways. Ava's leveling up and working on that, and I leveled up a little while ago, and I am working on what that means, because when you level up again, you go into a room and that saying where you think, oh, I know something, I learned something, and now I know I don't know anything. That's what happens when you level up. And so I've been existing at this level for a little while now, and I really have to do a mid-year reset as far as that's concerned, as far as the term and the thing that I'm doing is concerned. And AI has really changed things. I've had my students, some of my students have been with me for almost 5 years, and we can't do with them what we were doing 5 years ago, right, Ava?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Things change quite a bit. And but to each their own, they say, because you can still, the clients, the people you need, they'll find you just like the opposite. But at sometimes we do want to speed things up, try something new, and that's part of growth too, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. Well, we want to keep that alignment. So one of the questions I had to ask myself, I don't think Ava had to do this one, but I had to ask myself, am I still moving toward what I said I wanted? Because, sometimes the shifts are so big that you're busy doing the work, or, it's summer. So you get distracted or you fall into a comfortable zone where you're more into the stuff that you enjoy doing than the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
You know, there's a lot of things that you could be doing in this question. So you have to really ask yourself, am I still moving toward what I said I wanted? So there's a little inventory and there was a little meditation and waiting for the answer to come back on that one. And then I had to see what was working and what wasn't working. And here's an interesting thing. Ava, I didn't even tell you this. I'm not announcing it and I'm not saying what it is yet, but I'm sharing my secret here. What's working? The title mindset coach for me is not working. I'm more of a strategist. So I'm even changing my title. So there's a growth and an evolution, especially with the industry being so young and we all feel, oh, I'm this, I'm a mindset coach, definitely. But then as I evolved and I saw the body of work I was doing, I'm not quite on point with that now. So we going back to the top question. Am I moving toward what I said I wanted? You know, my branding, my identity is evolving and we have to grow with it. All right, Ava?
Well, definitely. And that's a very good point you brought up because I went through that shift actually maybe couple or 3 months ago. And people notice it too because like when you go into something new, sometimes we don't plan things. I mean, yeah, work is one thing, but when you're building a business, sometimes new thing comes, new insights. And at first it feels good because maybe it's something new all completely. But there comes a point where, okay, this is nice, but you grow and then you grow again. And at each level, you almost feel good, but
Mm-hmm.
then you find something better and then that grows on you and then you become that new identity. And that's why I went from, which I still do like yourself, mindset coach, but self mastery I believe is very important. And at first you're like, well, this person's doing that, this person's doing that, that sounds good, transformation, that they all sound great, but
Yes.
who am I really in all this, in this whole puzzle of life? And then I realized that yes, I had to go from here to here to here, and you go up the ladder of mastery. But at some point, you was like, okay, this is me now. And sometimes you stay there for another 10 years, maybe 5 years, or maybe 2 months until another breakthrough comes. But that doesn't mean you're, not helping people, not growing. It's just you yourself have to evolve in order to help others as well. You can't be here and then still expect um, the same things all the time. We all growing. When I talk to my clients and see their breakthroughs, it's so nice because then they look back, it's like, wow, I used to be here and so stressed out. Now I'm over here and I feel so different, right? So it's all in a growth. And sometimes when you land somewhere, it's like bullseye. I got this. That's exactly where I need
Yes.
to be. And I would not get here if I didn't go through those other things first. And that's growth for me. So
Yes. Well, exactly. My as far as my brand is concerned, my colors and a certain heart and a certain nature hasn't changed, but there's certain, well, you're growing with your clients too, right? I mean, you're putting intention out there, you're learning ahead of them too, and you're showing application of the teaching. There's going to be a natural evolution there. So then you end up asking yourself, what's working, what's not working, what's draining me, what needs to end? So we're constantly, because we love our craft and because we're practicing it with our students as well. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. We got construction going on there. So um, when we grow with our students and when we hold our students in regard and we hold ourselves to the commitment and to the intention, we there's an evolution. So we start moving in more and more of an accurate linear intention. We're aligning more and more and more, even though we were aligned when we put a shingle out. It's just that we're aligned in a higher, bigger, better way. And even then, it's very humbling because even though we're growing and we have to re-evaluate our business, there's still a lot more growth to do, which is really exciting. And that exists in honestly in every business. You know, I'm sure that it's not just our industry that is feeling this, where we have to modify ourselves with the growth and the alignment, especially with AI assisting us and moving us months ahead instead of us taking all that time. It's happening in a week, happening in a day. Well, we used to take months to work on this.
definitely.
Yeah, it's about asking yourself better questions. So, you know, what have I been reacting to? What have I intentionally created? Where has my intention gone? Uh, you know, we teach self awareness and conscientiousness. And so we have to ask ourselves, where is that going? Where is that attention right now? And where is our most valuable asset? And then we have to conduct a personal audit. We have to continue seeing ourselves as the CEO in our lives. We have to straighten ourselves out again and tell us no excuses. It's summer. We have kids, we have vacation, we're tired. We know this is a time to that some of the business drops off. So this is the time for us to do such a thing like this. You know, we have to do simple evaluations. I know at this point, I do a bit of a health check as well, energy, sleeping. Um, do I feel strong? In a perspective where I have alertness and an ability to be present. And I look at my relationships. Uh, we were just talking about this before we got on, and we are talking about who energizes us and who lives in the lane that we exist in, and holds us up. And we see other people working that we worked with several years ago, and some of them have gone this way, some of them have gone this way, and Ava and I are still, luckily, still going straight, and we're still swimming in the same stream. Um, but it's normal to see the people that you've networked with in the beginning find their footing, find their intention, find their alignment. And moving away from you isn't a personal issue, it's a discipline. We're all growing in our disciplines. Like when I leveled up, and Ava, I think you're experiencing this again right now. It's not that I left the people that I was networking with, but when I leveled up, all of a sudden I found myself in an entire new area of people, and I was learning and aligning myself and posturing and all that stuff. So my friends may have, my associates in my network might have noticed that I wasn't quite swimming in the same stream or as straight as they were. We all experience that at different times. It's perfectly normal. So it's all part of the reevaluation and the reset right now. Like the timing is fabulous, right?
Definitely. And of course, like people come and go, like that poem there is, I forget who wrote it, but it's like people come for a season, for a reason, and sometimes stay a lifetime. So,
Yes.
and each one of them teaches us a lesson, or the opposite, right? So, and nothing lasts forever, like I say, but at the same time, I notice too, when we change, when we shift, of course, we meet new people, whether it's through books, courses, uh, events, we even put up things like that. So of course, but then all of a sudden, sometimes there's like a big wave of new people come. It's like, wow, where'd you come from? And then all of a sudden you realize it's because you shifted. The people,
Yes.
maybe you change your direction and you no longer want to do this. And you're doing more of something else now because you're more in alignment with that particular thing, maybe just for a season. Like you said, maybe just for summertime. I know
Yeah.
in the summertime, I the minute it hits, I'm like, I'm just gonna relax more. I still do my things, but
Yes.
summertime, I want to be outdoors more, spending time with family, going out to the lakes and stuff like that. So of course, step away for a little, but that doesn't mean I'm not there. I just give more time to myself. And the winter time, it's like, I'm not a big fan of lots of snow and minus 20s, so I'm more indoors, and then I focus on other things,
Yes.
whether it's clients, crafts, or new opportunities, right? So we all go through seasons, and I think that's really beautiful too, because it lets us see that life is really rich. if we really stop and think about it. So that's why it's important to ask yourself, like, where are you right now in your life? And like you were asking those questions, um, what deserves maybe more of your attention, your energy? What does it anymore? Maybe what are you ready to release at this point in life? Because you've been doing something maybe for so long and it's not working. So maybe you got to ask yourself that. See, everybody's in different shoes. Everybody's
Yes.
doing different things. So you do really want to, if you're somebody who's actually in personal development and want to stretch your wings, you got to really sit down with yourself and ask what's working, what's not, what it's been trying to teach you. What would you make the second half of this year look like? Are you going to make it
Yes.
extraordinary or are you going to pull back more? Things like that. So
Mhm.
lots of questions. I mean, I can think of like five or six more, but we're not going to bore you with those. But the bottom line is sit down with yourself, ask those questions, dig deeper, and the answers will come.
Absolutely. Yes. One thing that I want to suggest for sure is check your finances. As in, is your income growing or are you stagnant? Are you building assets or are you actually putting more money out? Um, that is a good place to check it at this reset point or this point where you say, okay, I'm midway, what kind of groove or did I get into old habits? And sometimes we get into the old habit of putting out more than we are bringing in as far as assets are concerned. And, is your spending reflecting your values? Uh, Summer kind of causes you to think, yay, this is fun, or I feel good, and you don't always on point. You just, I call July for my students the month of meh because I didn't think they would show up because it's summer and who wants to show up in the middle of the summer? I have to brag about this, but I actually had 100% of my class, my students coming in for master class in July. So part of this too in the reset is realizing that even though you think you know a flow, every year isn't the same. So we want to see what's going on this specific year and we want to reset ourselves. Sorry about that. Power flicked again.
Power
Uh,
commercial.
yeah, commercial. We have to reset ourselves according to the growth and the challenges and to the manner in which this year is saying for us. Like we can have an excellent year this year just by checking ourselves right now and staying in line and staying in alignment with all of our intentions. You could be setting up it. Sometimes it comes in quiet, sometimes it comes in hard, like a lion. But success like goes leaps and bounds, and you really want to be ready. The one thing that you don't want to do that I used to do is I used to feel the big quantum leap or the moving of the mountain. And I used to like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I used to do the adulting attitude, like I got control and I got to look at this. And I totally slowed myself down. So you really want to look at all of this, your finances, your career, your business, your production, your biggest results, uh, you got to do the whole gamut if you can. Like just reset, sit down and be quiet. This is a wonderful time to be quiet. Go sit somewhere at your favorite place. Bring notes if you want or not, but just breathe and be present with your work and you will start realizing the shifts you have to make.
Definitely. And if you're one of those people that are sitting on the fence and not sure which way to go, well, we're here for you, right, Nikki?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we have those moments too halfway through the year. Sometimes you're like, I had this whole list and nothing seems to be working and things like that. So, we're not going the way you planned. So that's why we're here for you to, help you through those moments as well. So sometimes you can just sit and do all the questions, and sometimes people need that extra, mindset realignment, the master class, just sitting with
Yes.
someone and just going over, over that. Because, sometimes you may not have somebody in your personal life to talk about things like that. So that's why there's always mentors, coaches, people out there who can definitely help with that. So today we'll,
Absolutely.
yeah. And so today we close with life isn't asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to remain awake, to notice when you're drifted away from what matters most, to have the courage to make adjustments, to choose growth over comfort. Remember, a course correction isn't failure, it's wisdom. So, um, ships actually crossing the ocean make hundreds of tiny adjustments before reaching their destination. I actually like that one. So your
Mhm.
life is no different. You don't need to start over. You simply need to realign, maybe. So take today's reflections with you, celebrate your progress because we all have them, and release what no longer serves you. So hopefully that helps. And reach out to us, myself or Nikki. And we'll see you guys next time. Right, Nikki?
Yes. Come back.
Come back.
Even though
So,
it's summer.
as you know, we always have a new topic to talk about. So we'll see you next time, everyone. Wishing you guys a wonderful day. Bye.